Bonjour, bienvenue à tous et à toutes. Merci d'être présents pour cette dernière table ronde de ce colloque hors site. Alors on a vu bien sûr les aménageurs, on a vu les constructeurs, on a vu les promoteurs, les industriels. Tous nous ont parlé dans un français parfait du hors site. Désormais on va parler de ce qui se passe à l'international. Les réussites internationales des marchés des modèles pour le marché français. Pascal CHAZAL est resté avec nous. Donc, I continue. I'm going on in English. CEO of ZEN Modular. Hi, Pascal. Nice to see you again. And we have the pleasure to get with us Rory BERGIN, Architecte, HTA DESIGN LLP. Hello. Can you please take your microphone? You're going to explain what you're doing exactly in a few seconds. And on your side, Carel VAN HOUTE, co-founder of HOME.EARTH. Hello, Carel. And Pascal, we would like to have at least one woman on these round tables. I know that you've done your best to get some girls on the table. Unfortunately, they were not available, and unfortunately, Elena Lidlow is not can't make it today.
Yes, it's a pity we have not so much girls around the table, but we should have one, Elena. Maybe if we can have the next slide. Elena, it's a pity she couldn't come at least today. And Elena is a really very interesting girl. If you are interested in offsite, you have to go on LinkedIn and look for Elena. Elena has been in a university of Luleå. It's in the north of Sweden for 15 years, making research on prefabrication, industrialization of the construction. And she left to get involved in a very big project for a company called Lindbäcks Big. And they created, which is one of the biggest factory in the world, actually, able to produce one module every 30 minutes.
So one module every 30 minutes.
30 minutes, yes. An amazing factory, very clean, very nice, very smooth, with 50% guys and 50% women in the production. Very automated. And Elena has been involved in this project. And this project is really amazing. And the factory is really running very, very good. And since 2 years, Elena has been picked up by the hugest company in the world of modular system, is a volumetric building company. Volumetric bought, you heard maybe about Katira, which was a startup who raised $2 billion. And they create a lot of factories. And they went down, and the volumetric building company bought these factories, but the factories were not efficient. And Elena is transforming completely all the processes of those factories to bring the factories on very high level of efficiency. So yeah. It's really a pity she's not here with us. But maybe we have 15 minutes. Where I can maybe show you a little tour of what's happening, not in the world, but in Europe in terms of site. And maybe I can have the thing for the slide. Okay. So Campus Hors Site is our school. You can find a Campus Hors Site in this show in M24 stand. And Campus Hors Site is organizing some learning trip, learning expedition. And we had one learning expedition in Sweden in May 23. And so we have been visiting this Giga factory, Lindbäcks Giga factory, and it was really amazing. Okay. They are building 2,500 homes a year, up to 9 floors. with timber frame system.
Yeah, we have to say to the audience that Pascal, you used to these trips international, where you're going to visit factories on
Yes.
projects all
Yes.
over the world, I guess. And last time that was in Sweden.
In Sweden, yes, we organize 2 trips a year with a campus on site, and so we have between 35, 40 French guys coming to visit, and it's really amazing trips, and we met a lot of interesting people. We were in the UK, and we met Rory. We have been visiting. I will show it a bit further. So we have been sleeping in a wonderful hotel. Maybe you can go on the next one. This is a factory. So you see this factory is 500 meters long. 500 meters long. It's 100 meters wide, and able to produce 1 module every 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Amazing.
just to give us an idea, it's the equivalent of this building and the factory.
Yeah,
it's
yes,
all the factory.
Yes,
okay,
amazing. Second one. This one is a wonderful building. It has been designed by White Architecte. It's an hotel, 20 stories hotel, which is built above the theater of House of Culture of a town called Skellefteå. Skellefteå is in the north of Sweden, and they create this amazing building. And so here you have a mix of a 2D system for what's on the bottom, the theater and the offices, etc., and a 3D system for the bedrooms, and they were really lovely bedrooms. We have a wonderful night in this building. The next one. And here you have Colloque. Colloque is very interesting. It's a company created by IKEA. And IKEA and Skanska, which is a major construction company in Scandinavia. And they created Colloque, and the idea of Colloque was to get the price of the housing down by 25%. They started 15 years ago, and 15 years ago the houses were so expensive in Sweden that a normal family with normal job couldn't buy a house. And so Colloque wanted to reach this goal, to get down the price of 25%. And they are building, since 15 years, 1,500 homes a year, 25% cheaper than all other real estate companies.
So that's
really amazing. And it is, of course, produced in a factory with a modular system. Quite simple buildings, but very, very nice apartments.
Okay. Colloque sounds really like IKEA furniture.
Absolutely. It's really amazing. They are doing for the apartments what they have done for furniture. It's exactly the same way.
What else?
Combo Hors is really interesting. It's social landlords. So social landlords, they come together. All the social landlords of Sweden, it's about 370 companies, come together, and in the same time than Colloque, 15 years ago, they said that the housing was so expensive and they couldn't build anymore. And they say, look, we want you to reach 25% lower the prices. And if you get 25% lower, we offer you to produce 10,000 apartments. Okay. And they have done it. And in 6 years, I think, they built 10,000 houses like this, 25% cheaper than their production. So it is really possible to get lower the price if you are in a real process of industrialization and standardization.
Very impressive. So thank you for giving all those advice. There is
there's two more. One is in Netherlands. So we were in Netherlands, the country of Carel, in December. And so you can go to the next one. We have seen the one before, a wonderful hotel. I invite you to go to internet and watch for Jakarta Hotel in Amsterdam. It's an amazing hotel with all the bedrooms have been built in a factory, 175 bedrooms. And the bedroom has been installed on site in 3 weeks. So it makes that the hotel has been delivered 1 year sooner than it should be with a traditional construction. And so it's, of course, a lot of money. and a lot of less nuisance for the site. And you can see the quality of this hotel is just amazing. It's 5-star hotel, just amazing. Next one. This one is an architect I like very much. It's Harry, and Harry is really playing with modules, and he's really doing amazing things with modules. You can see this modular building, just amazing. And he has been building modular buildings since 30 years, and you would be amazed to see all his buildings. You can go on the website to see Studio 9 Dots, which is the name of his agency. Next one. This one also is a very interesting program made by a raw architect and search architect, which is the architect also of Hotel Jakarta. And you see they are playing also with the modules. This one is an amazing project. You can think that offsite is for small construction. This is a project in Den Haag, in La Haye, which is 2,000 homes. It's 4 towers like this and smaller building. It's a big line of 500 meters long. And this project is now ready to be built. And it's 25 stories high, all with modular system. Okay. And the company is the one who made the Jakarta Hotel.
That's the picture of the project, but it's not on.
It's not ready constructed. They are going to start.
Okay.
Okay, and we had the last one was in July this year, was in UK, where we met Rory, and it was a very interesting trip. It's a kind of return of experience of 10 years of offsite in UK, and we see in UK the offsite is coming sooner than it was in France, so they start sooner than us, and we see some fail. There's a few things that have been not working very good, but we see also some success, very, very interesting. So first one, the fail has been a lot in very big factories, able to build houses like that. A house is 2 modules, and they had in UK, I think 3 or 4 very big factories. The investment could be 100 million pounds. And those factories, they have been created, they launch the production, and they fail because they had no market. So it's just stupid. If you want to go on the market, you have to go slowly.
Yeah.
And don't forget the learning curve.
So just a second, because Rory...
you want to
react.
Rory.
Wants to react.
Yeah, just every factory failure has been for a different reason. So one of them was very badly set up. Terrible thinking, bad thinking.
LNG? LNG?
No, the
Which
LNG. LNG. Okay. LNG. Ilka, which is this one, didn't really fail. They simply had their funding pulled.
Yeah.
So it was a case of the investors didn't have a long enough
patience.
Horizon.
Yeah. Or
so
money.
They were greedy. They wanted their money quickly.
Yeah.
But as we heard in the last session, you have to have a long-term plan.
Of course.
Is not a quick. This is not it's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
But maybe with the, I don't know when was that, but with the surge of interest rate, maybe they didn't have the time to get the money back, maybe. Anyway.
I think they should have planned for a longer horizon, because that company had a big order book. They had years of orders for the factory.
Yeah, but they didn't finance well.
No.
Good.
Or maybe not with the right shareholders. Like
what we saw was also very nice success, and if you can go to the next slide.
Yeah.
This is a company I like very much. It's called Sapphire Balconies, and they started to prefab balconies maybe 30 years ago, and 10 years ago they have really been doing a very, very good job. And you can go on their website and you can configure your own balcony, and they are going to prefab the balcony, and your able to install a balcony in a matter of a few minutes. And balcony, they are so pretty and so efficient and so very good quality. And they are building about 6,000 balcony a year now.
6,000, okay.
Another one is Lenk O'Rourke. Lenk O'Rourke is a general contractor, like we have Bouygues and Vinci, etc. But this company believe in off-site, and they invested in factories. Also a lot of money, I think 150 million pounds or something like that, in one factory for concrete, and also a lot of money in a factory for prefabrication of all what is technical things, technical ducts and bathroom pods, etc., etc. And they have a word, they say we are using DFMA, so we design for manufacture and then assembly on site, 60, 30. 70% of the element built in the factory, 60% improving the productivity, and 30% improving the delay of the construction. And it is the kind of building they are building. This one is Google in London, King Cross. It's an amazing building. It's £1 billion. And they have been building this building with this 70, 60, and 30 DFMA. Just amazing.
Okay, Google headquarters. Well, they got the money anyway. We're using them every day.
Yes, this is also very interesting. In France, you know, we have actually 3 producers of bathroom pods, and they are staying on a level about 20,000 pods a year, and it's still like this since 20 years. And it was the same in UK. But a few years ago, say about 4 or 5 years ago, the market really turned over. Yeah. I mean that the prefabricator, they made such nice product like that. This one is volumetric, and he's got 12 bathroom pods, 12 layout, and 2 finishing, and he's selling 5,000 pods a year like that. And so the market is coming from 20,000 to 50,000 a year, and it's really, it's a chain gamer. So the architect now is going to pick up in the catalog of bathroom pods and use the catalog on his layout. This is very interesting, and I think it will come in France.
Yeah, and that's I had what you would like to do with ZEN Modular, yes, with the students.
Exactly the same. Yes. And the last one is something that Rory is going to speak about, maybe.
So I'm an architect and I'm a partner at HTA. We're a firm in London that specializes in residential buildings. So what we have here on the screen are 2 buildings that we have built using volumetric modular construction. So working with a manufacturer in the UK who have made these modules in a factory near London, brought them into site on factories or on lorries, and then craned them into place. The one on the left is 44 stories at maximum, and the one on the right is 48 stories at maximum. The one on the left is normal apartments for rental, and the one on the right is a mixture of co-living, what we call co-living, which is like after student, but before your first apartment. So small studios, 20 to 28 square meter small apartments.
For young professionals. For
young professionals, or people in London for a short period, or people who are in between things. And then the right-hand side is affordable housing. So it's 2 quite different uses built on the same site. So both were built about twice as quickly as we could have built a traditional building. And both are working very successfully for their investors, different owners, and we're working on other projects in London of a similar scale. We've built many other buildings at a lower scale, sort of between 20 and 30 floors, and these are all steel framed modules. So it's a technology that there's a lot of expertise in the UK and a lot of factories that can make it. But so far, we really only have, I would say, 2 companies that have maintained a success over the last 10 years. So it's
Only
a difficult, only
Yeah.
2. Yeah.
Difficult market.
It's a difficult market. You know, all the problems that the previous speakers were talking about, you know, you have the market going up and then the market going down, and how do you keep a factory running? So I think both of these companies have focused on buildings for rental. These buildings were designed to be modular from the beginning, so there was no questions about that. So they're both very efficient, stacked buildings. There's no strange structures going on. It's all very, very efficient. We designed them from the beginning. We worked with them all the way through to completion.
For how long? From the design to the...
From the design to the realization. Yeah.
Okay. And how long? The period of time between 5 years, 6 years?
So the one on the left was 2 years, 4 months to build. Probably a year before that, so 3.5 years or so. The one on the right, I think, was 3 years from beginning to end.
Yeah. Which part? Is it London?
It's southwest London, Croydon. It's a sort of a suburb of
Croydon.
London.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks. Yeah, it's true that the 2 previous roundtable underlines the fact that we need previsibility and also started just from the beginning to adapt the modular. Carel VAN HOUTE, we are very happy to have you on this roundtable. Can you introduce yourself and HOME.EARTH, what your project of the moment?
Yeah. Hello. Sure, I can do that. Yeah, my name is Carel VAN HOUTE. I'm a Dutch citizen, so I'll put it a bit closer. Yes,
better.
thank you. I'm trained as an industrial designer. I have done that for about 20 years before I entered into the construction market. And actually, I brought my industrial experience to the building site. I started 20 years ago as a developer of hotels, Citizen M hotels, and with Citizen M we developed a modular building system that is used today even to erect hotels. And we have done that on quite an international scale, so in Europe, but also in the US.
Oh, yeah.
Now, since 4 years, I'm a co-founder of Home.EARTH. Actually, Home.EARTH is a company that is completely set up to change the climate impact of the construction industry and to create more sustainable neighborhoods for our tenants. And what I mean by that is that we heard a lot of talk about making the building industry greener, and there were all these panels and conferences and things like that. And at some point we thought, hold on, you know what, we're just going to do it. So 4 years ago, a group of people came together, all specialists in their areas. I brought my specialism with modular construction. Rasmus Nørgaard, who is the originator of the idea, was the co-founder of NREP, which is the largest development company in the Nordics. And Karsten Guldager, who is a specialist in sustainability. And an advisor in circularity, and we sat around the table and we'd be starting to draft up a complete new business model for the real estate sector. Actually, the first hurdle we had to take was how to get it financed, because the financiers also always look at the financial returns, but never at the social returns or the environmental returns. So we really spent the first year in developing a business model that could answer their needs for return. It also brought us to a point where we said, okay, we are not only developing the buildings, we will also operate them for eternity. So we don't sell. We are not a developer that sells with a premium. Okay. We are a developer that develops for the best possible result. And then we maintain that as a property in our own portfolio.
Okay. We've seen in the example of Pascal, hotel, Jakarta in Amsterdam, maybe you know it. Can you talk a bit about your experience in the Citizen M hotel, the brand, because you operate with them, you told us. Can you explain the concept and what you built at that time?
Yeah, so the reason that we wanted to do modular construction with ZEN hotels, I think that's where it starts, is that I'm always saying a building site is probably the worst possible condition to create anything of constant quality for a good price and in a timely fashion. Consistency is very important in the hotel industry because you have 200 plus rooms and they all must be kind of the same. The handover of a hotel building is a nightmare because what you find out in traditional construction is that each of those 200 rooms are slightly different. Sometimes there's a good tiler, sometimes there's a bad tiler. So, you know, that is really a problem. And we were thinking about, okay, how can we change that model? And of course, that's where manufacturing came into play. I'm talking about 2006, 2005 when we started to think about this, and there was no product on the market that could help us. So we really started with setting up our own facility to produce the first 2 hotels in the Netherlands before going further into the UK and the US, and you now also have ZEN hotels here in France. So the concept was, how can we build faster? Because every month that we are faster, we have more income from our hotel guests. And with hotels, it's a very seasonal business. So if you miss the peak season, you miss an enormous amount of money. So it's very important to be very bang on with your delivery time. And there's much more tying into this. 3 months prior to handover, you have all your hotel staff on the payroll. So if you have a delay, and usually the delays only come at the end of your construction project, all of a sudden you do not only have the missed income, but you also have all the cost of your staff and so on. So that is how we started. And then, of course, going from one hotel to another, we were able we found the opportunity to improve the model from going from one building to another, to another, to another. And that made us conclude that this was by far superior to traditional construction, because we saved a lot in design time and cost, and a lot in construction time, and the quality went better and the cost went down.
Yeah, there is often the question about industrialization associated with monotony or boredom. If you build the same hotel in every city of the world, it's a bit boring. What do you say about that?
Yeah, I think, I don't know if the examples are here, but I think if you look into the portfolio, there might be there. Yeah, so here, actually this is a good example. So here you see 3 hotels, and there are 2 of them in London, and the one on the right is on Manhattan, New York City. The one on the left is in the center of London, actually, on Tower Hill Station, and that is a UNESCO heritage site. So you cannot drop any type of ugly building in there. Let's be clear about that.
Of course.
What is interesting, however, is that all these hotels are, once you are 1 meter deep into the building, they are kind of the same, because all the hotel rooms are coming from the same factory. But you can see that you can create a very wide design language by using the same technical core in your buildings. And that is exactly the beauty of it. I think that, because I heard a lot of talk here in these panels about can you create quality with modularity. Well, I would like to flip that around. Look around you. Hardly anything out there has been built modular, and how beautiful is it? So I think at the end of the day, it comes down to having good architects.
Yeah.
And then you have, of course, a tool, which in this case is modularity.
We have the analogy with the car industry. It's true that you can have the same engine in the inside, but the outside you can shape a different shape. What's your view as an architect, Rory, about these different examples?
Yeah, I think that the task for the architect in working with modular manufacturing is often to decide how to make an efficient building that meets all the regulations. So you have to meet all the technical requirements, and the performance and technical requirements are getting more difficult every year.
True.
You know, climate crisis and so on. So our task is becoming more complicated every year. Also, the demands from society. Society wants attractive buildings. We want to design attractive buildings. Our clients want to build attractive buildings. So I think our skill becomes both the technical side and the appearance. But it's the appearance within the ability of the manufacturers to build it. So we also have to have a close relationship with the manufacturers and understand what makes their life easy. You know, we have to really understand at a high level of depth what makes their life easy, and what can we work with, and what can we change, because sometimes things are fixed, and sometimes things aren't fixed. You know, so you know, for us the interesting thing is to get involved in the manufacturing very early on. So you know, so the buildings, most of the buildings that we've done, we've designed from the first sketch. This is a modular building. We know it's going to be a modular building.
Okay. Carel, you started with investors and the return on investment on this kind of project. Is the return on investment good for investors? What did they say when you start modular construction? Were they a bit skeptical, or they say, okay, let's try it?
Yes, they were skeptical. Because let's face it, especially back in the day when we started to talk about it, we had to convince investors that investing in products, because that's what modules are, is actually the same as investing in real estate. But it's only becoming real estate the moment you have assembled it on the building site. So there is a huge gap between manufacturing, when products are manufactured, and when the building is on the building site. And that is usually the stretch of time that investors are struggling with, because where is their money? They don't have a building, and all their tools are created in a way that they can monitor what's happening on the building site. But now they have to make down payments to a factory, and there's nothing on the building site. So that requires an in-depth conversation, let's put it that way, with with investors about how to finance a project like this. Now it's becoming easier, by the way. The quarter starts to drop.
Easier to convince. About the cost, let's keep on doing the finance issue. What about the cost? Is it more expensive at the time still, or are the costs decreasing with the time and the scale?
Yeah, this is the million-dollar question. It depends really on what journey you're on. So if you say, I do a one-off building and I want to do it modular, then probably you will end up with a price premium, because all the engineering cost and pre-construction work needs to be funded by this single project. On the other hand, if you're a developer and you have a pipeline of projects lined up over time, and you can decide that some of the work you're doing now can also be reused in your next coming projects, then you can drive down costs. And for the hotels, that was quite interesting, because in the end, after 5 hotels, we could build a 4-star hotel for a 3-star price. So that's the impact that you can reach. But my first hotel was definitely above budget. I think we were 5 or 10% over traditional.
Yeah. Okay, decrease now. We've seen that off-site construction has many advantages in terms of time, of cost, of money, of payability for the workers. In your view, what are the main challenges that the industry face in the large-scale adoption of modular construction all over the world, or in UK, for example? Rory, what would you say?
What are the biggest barriers?
Yeah.
I think in construction people don't like change very much. I mean, construction as an industry is one that is built on, history, and it's built on experience. So we have people in the UK who will not build with timber frame because they haven't done it before. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's how simple things are, So it takes a lot of time. You have to educate people. We spend a lot of time bringing people to visit our buildings, and they walk in and they go, "Oh, I didn't know. I thought this would like rock. I thought it would shake, or I thought it would feel like a porta cabin. Like a temporary building."
Yeah.
So you have to bring people literally to see the results. Sometimes to convince them. But I don't think we can afford to keep on doing that. because it's just too slow. So we have to accelerate. And I feel that the way we're going to accelerate is because factories, you know, as previous speakers said, factories themselves are very scalable. So once you have a factory working, once you have a client who's investing in the idea, you can scale up very quickly.
Pascal, what can you do to convince more investors maybe to come to this off-site construction, modular construction?
Yeah, I think it's actually the right time. It's the right time because traditional construction is really, really very complicated now. And the COVID changed a lot of things. We have been speaking already in this round table before that the people, they like to have a life close to their job. Before they were going to work and they were going early in the morning and late in the evening and they don't care. But with the COVID period, they feel that they can have a life close to their job, and they like to have sport, they like to have their kids, etc. And actually, it's really very difficult to find guys to work on site. So we are coming on a very difficult and hard wall here, where we have a lot of buildings to build, and we have no guys anymore to do it properly. So offsite is really a very, very good solution. And what Rory said, that men don't like to change. It's not only in the construction. But I think we have to make some nice example to show nice things and to show and to make people come and see and visit. I see when we are coming in our learning expedition, visit your countries and the beautiful things you have been building, they are all really, they change their mind, really, and they are coming very interested in trying to do on a different way.
Okay,
Yeah.
we have to visit some
Yes.
project then. Yeah,
So,
Rory.
I visited one of our first buildings some months ago. It's a hotel in Wembley, and I was asking the manager's permission to show some people into the hotel rooms because it's modular. And he said, really? I had no idea.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't know.
It's
He didn't
completely
know.
invisible then.
It's invisible.
It's invisible. Yeah. That's the point. Carel, we also have a look on this project, modular multifamily housing. Where is it exactly? Is it project? Is it real now?
Yeah, this project is under construction. We are currently developing 4 projects in the Copenhagen area in Denmark. These are projects that are around and about 160 apartments plus shops. So they're all small neighborhoods. And we are really building these projects as prototypes to show that actually by developing buildings differently, you can really push down the amount of waste, the material use, and the CO2 production. And the way we look at it, and that is why we embrace modularity also for our projects, is that the only way to create a real circular project is to use modularity. That is the fastest way forward, because you can design for disassembly. And if you have designed it for disassembly, you can start to reuse and repurpose the elements in your building. So we look at those buildings as material storages for the longer term. And I think that has a massive impact on your performance when you talk about the planetary boundaries. Just to give you an example, this first project that we're doing right now, we are measuring it against DGMB Gold, and I don't know if that's being used here in France, but that's the German standard for circularity. And basically you look at the lifespan of 50 years and then the CO2 production per square meter per year in your buildings. According to DGMB, if you have a gold standard, you can produce 11 kilograms of CO2 per square meters, and that's embedded carbon in your structure, plus, of course, the operational carbon for the energy and heating. With this first project alone, we are already around the 4.5 kilograms, which means that we can make giant steps as an industry to improve and get rid of this current model where we use raw materials, build a building, and then we scrap it. And that's it. Don't forget, 1/3 of all the waste in Europe is construction debris. Just to give you a feeling, that is between the 500 and 800 million tons per year. So I think that if we can just bring that number down, then we are already on a very good path forward. And reusing building materials is the first step there. So that's why we do what we do.
It's appalling. 500 to 800 million tons per year. I think that's the responsibility of all the industry, of the people over there to get that down. About the future, because we have a few minutes left, about the future of off-site construction. What is your view? What can we do? Is it going to increase speed as well?
For me, it seems inevitable, because of all the things we've discussed here today. You know, a lack of people coming into the construction sector, costs going up, people are moving into cities around the world, so more densification. It becomes harder and harder to build traditionally in dense urban environments. So, so for us, we see the same issues wherever we're working around the world. It's the same set of problems. So it's not a French problem, it's not a UK problem, it's a bit of a global problem. Construction is reaching a certain point, and we're not actually delivering enough housing almost anywhere to meet the needs. And the housing costs for young people, for the next generation, are now much worse than they were for mine. So I look at my children and I feel guilty. We have failed the next generation.
They can't
somehow.
afford to buy a house anymore.
They can't afford to buy a house. No. So we need to change.
Carel, your view on that? The future of off-site construction?
I think there's a bright future for off-site construction, and I think it's the only way to create impact in the construction industry now. And actually, hearing the conversations, I don't think it is the contractors who are the problem here. I think it starts way earlier. It starts in the pre-construction phase with all the people, the investors, the architects, the advisors, the clients. We all have to learn and educate ourselves about what it is and what it means. Actually, that is why, because with Home.Earth we really want to have impact. So we have created an information website with information about what there is in off-site construction, but also in technical installations that have very low carbon footprints. And there's a huge knowledge bank that gives you all the information about, okay, what does that mean in terms of my process? What kind of team do I need? What kind of learning process do I get into? Because I see too many projects that go sideways, basically because people think that modularity is just something like traditional construction, so they drop modules in a traditional project and pray for a good outcome. That's not what's happening. And then these projects go sideways and a developer tells you, well, that was once and never again. So I think we should start at the basis, get educated. This is definitely, we spent 1.5 years with a couple of universities and a huge grant to develop something that is now available for everyone who wants to know what it is and how to do it. So please use it to your benefit.
Yeah. You said that construction is not a problem for France, but I don't know if you're familiar with the French market, you too. What's your view on the French market, on what's going on here? Do you have plans to build to have some project in France in the near future?
I'd love some French projects.
Okay.
Always happy to come and visit Paris, or frankly anywhere in France. But I mean, the construction industry here seems to be very similar to the construction industry in the UK. We're not that different.
Yeah, they're kind of struggling at the moment for the new for the new projects. But we used to say that 80% of the city is already built. And there is another issue about renovation. In your view, is it possible to use off-site construction to do this renovation and have a more sustainable housing tomorrow?
Well, I think, yes, we heard about energy sprung earlier on today, so that's a great example of the industrialization. But I think that's probably also where we need traditional workforce, because existing buildings are often very complex. Each one is a little different. They weren't built in an industrial way. They need careful, attention by individuals. So I would say we need the traditional industry to work on those, while the off-site industry can build the new housing.
Okay. Carel, any project in France? Not yet?
Not yet.
Fortunately.
Hopefully, but give us some time. We are starting now off in Denmark, and then we will move further south over the years.
Yeah, okay. Well, Denmark is far away now. Pascal, what about renovation as well? We talk about that's an issue for France as well, for our French market. What is your view on that? Are we going to use off-site construction to do renovation?
Renovation is a huge market, and we absolutely need to renovate buildings. Were built 50 years ago with very bad insulation, etc. So we really need to go much faster on renovation. And actually, and maybe a few years ago, we were only thinking of the price of renovation. We were looking, it was said by Paul this afternoon. He was saying it was 150 euro on the traditional system, and it costs 300 euro with off-site. If you only think this way, you never build with off-site. But they have done it, and they have done it because they save a lot of time. Yeah. And this time is help us to reach the goal of decarbonation, and it's also, of course, bringing a lot of families. It was thousands of families with a nicer home, with a warmer home. So we have to think globally, not only on the price of the construction. And it is maybe the biggest challenge is to change the way we are designing and financing and building our buildings. It's a traditional way, actually, is very segmented. Each one is doing his own job. And I think the off-site is really the opportunity to work in a much more collaborative way. And I know, Rory, you are doing a lot of collaborative work with your investors, real estate companies, the industry also, vision, production of a modular, and a lot of team around you, and you are doing exactly the same. And I think it is the way of a success, is to stop to be in each one in his own box, and to work as the largest as possible in a collaborative way. Yeah.
And to finish, just a word about your current project, maybe. What are you working on at the moment?
Well, we have some new tall buildings in London that we're working on. We've just submitted plans for a small emergency housing project, which is actually going to be modules placed on a site for 5 years, and then they'll be moved to another site after another 5 years, because we have a high demand for emergency accommodation in London. And then we're working on several projects overseas in other markets where they have the same problems that you have here and we have in the UK.
Yeah. Where? In Asia?
In Asia and in Australia.
Okay, far away. What about you, Carel? Current project?
Current project was the project where you saw the renders of. That is currently being under construction. The first part is being delivered by the end of this year. There are 3 phases in the project, and then I have 3 more projects under development in various stages, also in the Copenhagen area. So that will keep me busy for now. Okay. All of similar size, I would say.
So plenty of new trips for Pascal and his team, and we can have the.
We have a slide there. I think it's just before.
Just before.
Before, I think. Again, yes. The next trip is in Netherlands, so it's in December this year. So you are welcome to come with us to visit such a nice project like Hotel Jakarta and the factories and speak with an architect expert in that domain.
Sounds wonderful. Thanks for crossing the channel, Rory. Rory BERGIN, Architecte, HTA Design, and Carel VAN HOUTE, co-founder of HOME.EARTH. And thank you to Pascal CHAZAL, CEO of ZEN Modular. Merci à Olivier Villeneuve aussi, qui a bien sûr organisé ce colloque. Je pense qu'on peut applaudir nos panélistes. Merci à vous, public, d'être resté pratiquement jusqu'à la fin du salon pour ce colloque sur le hors-site. En tout cas, c'était un plaisir d'animer ces conférences. Et bien sûr, vous trouvez toutes les informations dans le magazine et sur le site hors-site. Très bonne soirée à tous et à très bientôt. Merci.